Ukraine's grain was shipped to Odessa by a rather circuitous routes over land, rivers, and seas. And kind of the most famous were these overland oxen-drawn wagon trains driven by teamsters known as Chumaki. Sometimes you see this in paintings of the oxen pulling these wagons full of wheat. Sometimes as many as 100,000 wagons a year. But by the second half of the 19th century, we have a development in Central Europe, far away, actually in the Germanic lands, and that is railroads. The beginning of railroads, and clearly proved their efficiency in Central Europe as a means of shipping goods in bulk, and it was not long before they were introduced into the Russian Empire. And considering the importance of the export trade, guess what? First railroad in the Russian Empire was where? It was actually a railroad built in 1865, distance of 137 miles, connecting a town called Balta, which is here not far from southern Podolia, to where? Obviously, to Odessa. And that's the beginning then of the coming of the railroad. From this town of Balta, railroad lines were built during the second half of the 1860s to cover other grain-producing areas to the east, to the north, and from these places to Kiev. And then from Kiev to northward further to the empire's main political and administrative centers, St. Petersburg and Moscow. By 1914, by the end of our historic era, Dnieper, Ukraine, had a functional railroad network, as you can see on that map to the left, covering 10,500 miles, or about 16,000 kilometers.